Hypocrite here at the first ever PAX Unplugged. We're here at the Steve Jackson booth with Randy. As we talked to him before during Gen Con about the initial the Munchkin Pack collectible card game release, now you actually have some like demos to show off and stuff, and like we're gonna thought we'd talk about and ask some questions about the card game.
Absolutely.
So first off, after the time since then, how has it been received, do you think, by the general public?
The general public, anytime I've been able to get out and show it, it's been received very well. I've always said we have different layers of customers. I've got to sell it to my boss.
Of course.
Then I've got to sell it to the distributors. Then I've got to sell it to the shop owners. The last person who's got to buy it is that last customer. And it's always worrisome because everybody else can say, yeah, I want it. But until that last person buys it and actually gives the money to power the whole system, it's all a guessing game. Like there's more than guessing, but you're never sure. But these people have really gotten behind it. They're like, I'm very excited about it. I like it. I like the differences from the things I've played before. We've gotten a very positive response from it.
That's really good to hear, because in particular, with, I mean, obviously anything, but CCGs in particular, the more people who like it and spread a word, that really does ramp up the gameplay and stuff.
It's the lifeblood of it. You can love a CCG, but if no one else is playing it, what do you love? It's solitaire.
Right.
And if it's never designed for solitaire, it's not going to work. So you have to have a little community. You have to have a big community. You have to have a great big community. And the larger those are, the better things get.
Yeah, and definitely, hopefully, they'll help spring more at these conventions like these as they come across.
This is a great convention for it. I have been going to a different convention for years. I've been going to BGG Con for 10 years now, if not a little more. And this year, when this one came up, BGG Con isn't a CCG crowd, but these people at PAX Unplugged and even the regular PAXs are much more CCG. So I had to say, well, I've got to go to this one instead to show it off. And it's been a wonderful show. I mean, this is a great crowd. So I'm glad we were able to show it off, and hopefully these positive people go back to their communities, go talk to their stores, go talk to their friends, get on social media. They've got to sell their love of it. I got to keep showing it and letting people fall in love with it. But
exactly, and of course, every card game when it comes out different ways. How are people going to be able to get the card game first? Just packs, decks, like what?
So there's two main ways. For the collectible card game, our initial showing is going to be the starter decks. So you can pay $20, $19.95. I'm rounding, and you'll get 2 starter decks of cards. All the tokens you need to play, a 6-sided die, and in the first printing you're also going to get a booster pack. I don't know if we're going to do that on later printings. So you can just play it as a 2-player game and decide, is this what we want? Even if you don't usually buy the starter decks, for this one you're going to want to get at least 1 set of starters to get the hero cards and all this tokens and stuff you need to play and get a good starting point to go forward with. So that's the starter decks. Booster decks that come after that. When you say, hey, I want booster decks, I want to make these better, I want to make them different.
I mean, of course, that's one of the things going later on, but you're saying that I can buy 1 deck that comes with enough for 2 people.
You can buy 1 box that has 2 decks, 2 heroes, 2 players worth of tokens, all the stuff 2 players need to play for $20.
That's pretty good, because Jonathan and I have seen some other games, collectible games that come out, and we had an issue because they would only come for 1 player. So it may come. I mean, I understand why they do that, but it sort of stinks. But this lets you literally, if I bought 1, I could take it to my friend's house or take it to someone else's house, which really helps it.
It's that same mentality. I can't play it solitaire. Why do I have only 1 if there's solitaire? It's a 2-player thing. I want you in the experience. Now I may take my 2 home, and it would be great for me working at the company if I bought some kid buys 2. She loves it, shows it to her friend, they play with the 2, then she takes her stuff home and her friend goes, I'm going to go buy a 2-player set because I want to try one of the other sets of 2 heroes. I mean, that's great. She has her stuff to play, and then it grows out from there. That's how communities grow.
And of course, because of the collectible card game style, then once you play with the starter set, you're like, well, I want to make my custom deck.
Right.
And if we look at, I mean, the promo here, we can see the art's very unique compared to what we've seen from other Munchkin set, the original Munchkin set.
Right. John Kowalik did a lot of the art in this. All the neutral cards most of the neutral cards are drawn by John Kowalik, but they're shaded and colored by other people. The shading and the coloring is much different than you would see on a Munchkin card. I love it. I love the art. Each class, some new artist took on the art for that class. So Katie Cook in the first set took on, I believe it's Katie Cook. Katie Cook took on the Thief, so all the Thief class cards are Katie Cook. And then when we do a new set, maybe someone else will take on drawing the Thief, so there's a certain congealed artistic presence in your Thief deck.
Which becomes really fun too, because when you see the card, you're like, okay, this is the first set Thief, so you know that that's a Thief card.
It looks very Thief. It's got a distinction to it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Even people who just collect them for the art and say, well, you know, that's a beautiful piece of art.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that plenty of other games that even make jokes of how many different ways people get the games, whether it's tournaments, collecting, art for flavor, and this definitely is going to show all that, I think, in the games.
Yeah, and then people who want a two-player Munchkin experience, this is not Munchkin. This is the Munchkin CCG, but it has a lot of Munchkin feel. So if it was a couple who they just can't get out, they have stuff at home, they don't get out much, get the two-player game. Don't use it like a CCG, buy it as a two-player game, enjoy the two-player experience. If you're like, this is getting a little stale, go put a booster pack in. Go add something a little bit to freshen it up for you. Spend a little bit of money. What are we willing to spend on this to make it better? Well, you have that option in small increments.
And of course, as you said, while it is different, this is Munchkin, which means you know that if enough people go into it, this can go literally anywhere. I mean, the possibilities can do crazy. It's
got the puns, it's got the art, it's got the parody. There's a lot of, we love CCGs that. It's when we poke fun at something, it's because we've loved it for so long. You don't make fun of things you hate, you just ignore them. And when we make fun of some other company's product, it's because we have bought that product repeatedly, we love it, and we're saying, look at it, it's funny in a childish way that like this is similar but different. So that's all in here. You can see some of the stuff you've loved. If you look close enough, we've hidden a lot of it in there. Little inside jokes along the way of, oh yeah, that does kind of look like that. Oh, that I know what they're talking about
always
here.
Good with the inside jokes. Now I have to ask, because obviously you probably have been able to see the cards and play a lot of them. Do you have a favorite hero?
No. Anytime I do, anytime I think I've got it nailed down, I'm like, well, yeah, but that's not really my style. Well, yeah, that's my style, but I prefer this. And I do so much. I've seen so many of the cards where I'm like, oh, that one's going to be real popular. But again, until the final customer comes, I don't know. It's going to take on a life of its own as soon as players grab a hold of it and make it their own. I don't have a favorite yet, but there's good stuff. I'll probably bump around in between them.
I mean, we'll definitely see as soon as, I'm sure once a player fan base, there'll be some really crazy decks out there made. So,
yeah. Every time I think I've got it nailed down, like, it's stupid. We've done all this work and this is the answer. This is how you make the deck. And I'll make that deck. I'll just run up against a wall and someone else, I'll be like, wow, that shut me down. I've gone too specialized and one small answer really held me back. I've got to generalize a little more and specialize in small ways.
All right, and when is this plan to be released again?
Late February.
All right. So, I mean, fingers crossed, this is definitely a new CCG for everyone to check out. Taking Munchkin to a whole new area it hasn't been before. Thank you again for joining us here, and hope you enjoy your rest of the time you're coming.
I suspect I'll talk to you again.
Of course, yeah. So keep an eye out for the new Munchkin CCG that'll be coming later in hopefully February.
Talk to your local stores, talk to your friends, build the community. If you want to see it, if you want to play it, you've got to go show interest, and then it grows with you.
Hey there, if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, because we've got much more where that came from.
And you can check us out on the web at rollforcrit.com for more board game news from PAX Unplugged and elsewhere.